Alexander Hamilton, his blueprints for the founding nation. In what ways did the first Secretary of Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, influence the making of the early Republic of America? Alexander Hamilton is known as one of America's founding fathers and has had very influence on the making of America. He has been an essential influencer in the shaping of the United States by helping write the Federalist Papers, dealing with the nation's debt, and creating the first national bank. Hamilton came over to the colonies with the dedication and determination by joining alongside Washington in the Revolutionary War at the age of 18, the start of his influence on America. He had friends and foes. One foe was Thomas Jefferson. He was a pronounced anti-Federalist. Jefferson's discomforts with his colleagues reflected a very real division in the United States. Secretary of Treasury Alexander Hamilton headed this faction. One of Hamilton's greatest influences was his stress for a secure and stable government. Mooney states, he believed a stable and effective government required an elite ruling mass, power. Hamilton asserted should be lodged in the hands of the enlightened. An article in Time magazine states that aside from George Washington himself, no one had a greater impact on the founding and development of our nation than Hamilton and Jefferson. Jefferson was the more revolutionary of the two, but Hamilton laid the foundation for the strong, centralized modern state led by a powerful executive. This quote is significant because Hamilton knew that America needed strong people in power for America to succeed. Hamilton wrote a letter to Edward Carrington utilizing an argumentative tone, saying, "They would draw us into the closest embrace of the former and involve us in all of the consequences of her politics, and they would risk the peace of the country in their endeavors to keep us at the greatest possible distance from the latter." Hamilton delegated duties to Carrington as the new supervisor of the revenue for the District of Virginia, showing his use of power. Hamilton wrote most of the Federalist Papers, which outlined how the republic form of government he was trying to instill would work. An article written by Robert Bellogy stated that he demonstrated the advantages of a central government with built-in checks to prevent abuses of power. This was a very important influence of Hamilton because the United States still follow this centuries later. Hamilton managed to tackle the national debt of America, who owed a large sum of money. According to the Smithsonian, U.S. owed almost $80 million, due in large part to the pay and supply of the Continental Army. It was during the war where America gained this debt. Hamilton believed that the United States not look at the debt as a bad thing, but more as an asset. The Smithsonian claimed that he proposed to fund the debt through a gradual schedule of dependable tax resources, assume state debts as a measure of good policy, and generate new revenue through Western lands sales and taxes on luxuries. The tax on alcohol was the main thing that he knew would help relieve the debt. Hamilton founded the national banks with his idea of loose construction. The Bank of the United States was established in 1791 to serve as a repository for federal funds and as the government's fiscal agent. Although Hamilton's economic views were unpopular by most of society due to the fact that it was modeled closely to the British, according to U.S. history, his aggressive support for manufacturing banks and strong public credits all became central aspects of the modern capitalist economy that would develop in the United States in the century after his death. To this day, the United States still follows Hamilton's outline. Alexander Hamilton, the man who made America, did a lot for the country with a focus on the economy that helped shape the country into what it is today by his work on the Federalist Papers, helping with the debt, and finding the first bank.